So what do we need to do on the training side to become successful in this business? One of them is what you're doing right now. You're watching this video. You're learning about this business. That is really important. And there are so many other training videos out there that we're developing over time for you, and we want you to be a part of that. So that's going to be important. Become students of the game. Okay, you need to research this industry. You need to learn interchange. You need to understand how to analyze statements. There's so many good tools and resources out there. I want you to be focused on that. Live in the spot. I love that. Watch, listen to everything that's in the spot, everything that's out there. I think that's crucial. Master SpotOn software product offerings. Okay, spend some time on that. I don't think you need to get overwhelmed with it. Focus on one or two of our products and really dial in on those. And then when you're ready, add the certifications for the restaurant POS, our retail POS, our point system, loyalty, so forth. You can add those badges, you can add those certifications. But right now, get 2 or 3 of the basics down. I recommend on our core product that you learn the review management piece. We talked about that a little earlier. It's the easiest one to learn. It works for every single business. I don't care if you're a chiropractic office or an attorney or whatever you do, you need review management. Okay, be comfortable doing activations. This is the #1 concern for my new agents. They're always like, what do I do? I have no idea what to do. I guess the first thing is make sure they got their equipment. That'll be on your spot. You'll know if they got it, if it was sent out. And then set up a time, call the merchant, make sure they're available, make sure they're going to be there so you don't waste your trip. And then third, get in there and make the phone call to SpotOn. They will lead you through it. Our team back here, absolutely fantastic. They're going to show you exactly what to do. There is no knowledge required. Okay, I'm telling you right now. It is as easy as picking up the phone, saying the name of that merchant, dialing in, and listening and having them take you through it. And once you do 3, 4, 5 of them, you're going to be even more successful and dialed in, and it's going to be old hat for you. And you're going to be telling the tech support guy, here's what I know. Train your clients on the SpotOn software. Again, that is on my portal, on that sheet that I'm giving you. You want to teach them the basics, and you want to make sure they have the app set up on their phone so they can access all their stuff. You want to show them how easy it is to do a marketing campaign, maybe do a test one for them. Obviously, you want to set up the birthday visits, the first-time customer visits. There's a few things. You want to put their hours in there, their website, if they have a story, or even a couple of lines of information, because on the app, right, that's what shows up when other people are searching their business. And the more time you spend, people, doing this, setting clients up, the more referrals you're going to get and the quicker your business is going to build. I promise you that. Okay, 4 Ds. 4 Ds. This is new for me, but #1 D is desire, right? Desire is the root of success. You have to have desire. You have to have goals. I have literally a goal chart at home. I also have one in my office that will that goes through what my goals are. Okay, I have a goal setting sheet. Again, this is available on the spot. It's really cool. You can start with kind of a macro picture, like I want to make $100,000 this year, and you can spin that all the way down to what you need to do monthly to make sure you're hitting that goal. So I would say desire is completely within your power and totally within your control. Dedication is the second one. You have to have dedication to this business. We talked about the full-time aspect of it. You have to be dedicated to making it happen each day. Determination, okay? If you get discouraged, which is not one of the 4 Ds, okay? If you get discouraged, you're not going to be successful in this business. And determination is a way to overcome that, okay? I highly recommend that if you do get discouraged, because it'll happen, and it happens to me all the time, okay? And I've been in sales for 25 plus years, okay? I really think that's important that you just take a break, get out to your car, listen to some tunes, or grab a coffee if you're a Starbucks guy or whatever, and just chill for a minute. Get yourself reactivated, refocused, and determined again. Because all it takes is one person a day saying yes to you in this business. Keep that in mind. And you're in the top 5% of our sales force, and you're making $100,000+ a year and building $5,000 a year or a month in residual per year. Okay, that's all it takes. You don't need everybody to say yes to you. Okay, you don't need to worry about the guys that are not signing with you. Focus on the people that you can help and the people that you can sign. In this business, there's been a lot of studies done. About 70% of our deals are closed on the first appointment, 23% on the second, and only 7% on the third or after. And guess what? My sales team spends 50% of their time focused on that 7%. It is a waste of your time. It's called chasing deals. Don't do it. And that brings me to the fourth D, which is discipline. Okay? Everything in life takes discipline. Okay? One of the things that's a little bit scary about this job is you're not going to have an actual boss, right? You don't have somebody that's clocking you in, right? My employees at my office, they clock in. I know when they're there. All right? They punch in, they punch out. They punch out for lunch. They punch in. You have none of that. It's you and your determination and your discipline and your desire and your dedication that's going to make the difference between your success and your failure. And discipline is number one. I always talk about to my salespeople, there's some people that are good with a blank sheet of paper, right? You give them a blank sheet and they can fill it in and they can create. And there's other people that need day-to-day instruction. They need to know from 9 to 10, I'm doing this, 10 to 11. You should know which one of those you are. If you're a person that needs that structure, talk to your regional manager, talk to your agent director about structure. They will create a plan for you. They will call you if they have to at 7 in the morning to wake you up, okay? Trust me, they will. They'll check out with you at the end of the day. They'll answer their phones on the weekends. I do the same thing for my team, for my people. We expect the same from you. Dedication, discipline. If you're one of these people that can just fill in your sheet, you're self-motivated, awesome. Then you've got a big advantage. Then get up and get to work, okay? Sitting at home drinking lattes is not going to get it done. All right. I manage salespeople, like I said, for SpotOn. And I'm telling you, my most successful agents, they're out in the field, they're making things happen, they're working. And work is the key. It's not one of the 4 Ds, but it is extremely important. Okay. The Spot, make sure you're utilizing the pipeline tool. Make sure you're utilizing the merchant tab. Okay. There should be a display on your screen right now. Make sure you're utilizing those 2 tools. We're working on making those even better for you over time. Lone is working on that. So keep that in mind. If there are things with that pipeline or the merchant tab that you don't like or you wish were different or better, you've worked with other systems in the past, let us know, okay? We'll make those changes if we feel that it's going to benefit all the other sales partners. But at a minimum, make sure you're filling that in every day at the end of your day. Okay, it's going to be the best way to grow your business. So that's really, really important. All right, so how do we differentiate ourselves from other companies, from other processing companies? And I think we've talked about this a little bit, but I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this a little bit right now. Reviews and digital marketing is part of our base package, right? For the $25 a month, they're going to get marketing and they're going to get review management. And they're 2 amazing tools right there. Not to mention, remember, we're doing their PCI. They're paying no statement fees, no minimums, no batch fees, none of that. But focus on the 2 pieces of the core base, review management, okay, and the digital marketing. And the review management is something, if I get somebody's attention when I'm walking in on a cold call, that's the one thing that I will show them right away. If they're willing to give me more time, then I show them how easy it is to do a digital marketing piece, okay? Because it literally takes less than 3 minutes. And it's just super effective. We just bought a LifeView as well, which is a website company. And pretty soon, within weeks of this live call, you're going to actually be able to do a website on the spot in front of a merchant, showing them how easy it is for us to build them a custom website. So that's going to be an even cooler tool. Loyalty platforms, $15 a month is all that we charge. So they get our core base, and if they want loyalty, it's an extra $15. They're paying $40 a month. Our competitors, if you look at Belly and 5-Star and some of the others out there, do some research, people. Okay, remember we talked about dedication? That's part of it. Do some research, but if you look those companies up, you'll find they're charging $200, $300, $400 a month just for loyalty. We charge $15. It's unbelievable. Okay. Point is, again, an amazing system. Our Point terminal is not very big. It's digital. It's Wi-Fi. So they can bring it around their store. They can bring it to the table if they have a small restaurant, whatever they want to do. And it has core built in. That's the biggest advantage over like a PAX 80, is that the Point can be brought in and core can be established on it, and the merchant doesn't have to do anything. And I'll tell you the other advantage we talked about, right? The dashboard app on their phone. One of the really, really cool things is that they can do all of this right from their phone. And if they have a Point, and we talked about payments are updated in real time every evening. On Point, they're updated every 15, 20 minutes. So they could be on a beach in Mexico and they can see exactly what's happening with payments on their cell phone. Pretty darn cool. So I love that. SpotOn Restaurant. We bought a company called Imagine a few months ago. They have a restaurant system that is unbelievable. We now own that company. Remember we talked earlier in this call about how we're moving towards owning all of our own product, right? Gives us tremendous control, tremendous flexibility. We're very supple life. We can move quickly. This restaurant product's unbelievable. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this, every demo that we've done so far with their team, when we have a demo set up with a restaurateur, has been closed. So if you can get the demo set up with SpotOn Restaurant, okay, and get the team involved in doing that demo, your chances of getting that sale are extremely high. And I'll tell you something even better, the attrition on those accounts is next to nothing, because once a restaurant's invested in a system like that, they're utilizing it, they've got loyalty, they've got core, they've got everything rolling with it, right? We're their support, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay with us. So that's really big. SpotOn Restaurant, or Register, excuse me. Great system for your retailers, your small merchants, okay? Something else. SpotOn Appointments. Learn this, get certified in appointments. It's one of our best products. It's an incredible program where people can set appointments in real time with salon owners. It works for physical therapists, works for chiropractors, works for massage therapists. Anybody you can imagine, SpotOn Appointments is part of that process. And payroll, we just sign up through Gusto. It saves customers money, it saves them time. Best part is you don't have to do anything. They can literally click a button on their portal, sign up for Gusto, and you get paid based on how many users they have. So utilize this when you're going in and talking to merchants and you're selling them on our product. Very, very important that you're talking about all of these things. So let's talk a little bit again to make sure that you guys can ace your test, okay? Our base fee, $25 a month. It includes marketing and review management. It does not include loyalty or the point system or appointments or any of that stuff, okay? SpotOn Register, $65 a month is what it costs. All the other systems are basically $15 a month. So think of it as very simple. $65 a month for your main POS products, whether it's restaurant or retail, and then $15 a month for the add-on products. The loyalty, the point system, right? The appointments, all those are $15 add-ons. So you start with your 25, that's kind of your core, your base, and then you build a package above that. And keep in mind, above $35, as long as it's not one of our POS systems, you're going to get paid 50% residual. So let's say you sign somebody up for appointments and a point and loyalty, right? $45 a month plus the $25 core fee. We're at $70. You're getting half of that $35 of profit. So you're going to make $17.50 a month in residual. So that adds up. Trust me. And sales tactics. What should you be doing on a daily basis? We talked a little bit about the blank sheet. We talked a little bit about the fill-in sheet. When you're starting out, you should be contacting your sales director every morning. Okay, very, very important. All of these things. So differentiate yourself from everybody else out there. Okay. First of all, most people that get into this industry do not get training. They give it a week or two and they're out of here. They have no idea what they're doing. We have invested a lot in you already, believe it or not. We want you to be successful. We want you to make, I don't want any of my guys writing less than 10 deals a month. To me, that's a failure on my part. Your sales directors feel the same. That's 2.5 deals a week. We can all do that if we follow these principles, okay? So how do we plan for success? Number one, record your activity in the spot. That's really, really important, okay? It's gonna give you a great way to track your sales, see what your warm and hot leads are, keep everything in one place. You're gonna be able to review, you're able to go back in time and see what's happened, so make sure you're doing that. Call your sales manager, director, regional, whoever you have, first thing in the morning, okay? These people are trained to help you be successful, but they're also almost always in a great mood, right? That's their job. Their job is to pump you up. Their job is to get you off to a good start. Topics for a quick nightly summary. I have all my people send me this, okay, especially my newbies. It should talk about your activity for the day. It should talk about any questions that you had that didn't get answered that day. Maybe your director was too busy, couldn't get back to you right away. What appointments you have the following day, and then your goals, right? And we are planning now, we're in the end of January right now. My team's already planning their February goals. We've already got that all laid out. What are they gonna have to do, right? We're gonna talk about their last month. We're gonna talk about the successes and the failures. You're only gonna get better from your failures. I'd rather have people fail than succeed because they learn more that way. Keep that in mind. If you're making mistakes and you're failing, you're learning, you're getting better at this job, and that's what I want from you guys out there, okay? We already talked about visit your existing clients once a month, send thank you notes. Focus on the task at hand, but mind the big stuff. Okay, this is really important. So you're gonna have kind of two personalities, if you will, in this business. I have like 6, but anyway, 2 personalities. First one is gonna be your cold calling, okay? And your prospecting. It's that daily funnel. And you should not be quitting until you get 2 or 3 appointments and or a sale every day. Otherwise, you should be keep pounding, okay? So that's really important. But you also need to invest in your long-term strategies, building the brand, getting involved in a local chamber, getting your affiliate relationship set up, starting those conversations with the bigger restaurants that may not be looking for a new POS right now, but they might be a year or 2 from now. Getting those dialogues started, getting those emails out there, building that trail. I call it mining, okay? Like the old prospectors, right? They would go into the rivers and they would mine and they would sift through tons of gravel to get to that little nugget of gold. That's what you're doing with those big accounts. It takes time. It takes time to build them. You should also always have a monthly review with your sales manager. Very, very important. They are here for your success. Okay, they're going to probably be hard on you at times. They're going to be your biggest advocate. They're going to be your biggest support. You need to be dialed in to your sales manager at all times. I want to make sure I covered everything. I do believe I have. So that is awesome. Let's move on to payment processing. If you're hanging in there, we're gonna talk about product in just a second. We're gonna go through the basics of payment processing in a very short period of time. We're gonna try to keep it to about 10, 15 minutes. Then we're gonna talk about kind of our key products, just in a summary. Again, there will be video certifications on all these products separately. And then we're gonna wrap it up with just a little more sales talk. And then you are done. And you should be able to smoke that test and feel really good about what you're doing. Okay. By the way, my email is mredmond, REDMOND, @spoton.com. Always here to help. I will get back to you if I can at all that same day. It may not be instant. I get a lot of emails, but I do want you to know you've got another support, somebody that's been out there, that's still out there, works with their team daily, and is very focused on your success. So keep that in mind. Utilize me as well if you want to. All right. So let's talk about the basics of payment processing, okay? The basics of payment processing are really simple, right? There's some kind of terminal or product that allows a person to take a credit card or a debit card, process that electronic form of payment, move the money, right, from that person's card to the merchant's bank account. That's what we do, and it's got to be done securely. And I'm sure a lot of you have read about all of the breaches, Target and Home Depot over the past few years. Heartland, one of our big competitors, 2 breaches, got fined millions of dollars by Visa because they had a breach in their terminal that basically handles all of their processing data, right? So it's a big deal. So there are 5 key players in this space that we need to be aware of. The first, of course, is the card holder, right? So I go in with my card. I'm the card holder. I'm the first person in this cycle of 5, right? 2 is the merchant, so the business. Okay, so I'm going into that business, giving them my card. 3rd is the processor, in this case, SpotOn, right? The person that moves that money securely. We're backed by TSYS, again, been around since 1960, second largest mover of money in the world behind First Data. So great company, never had a breach. You should feel very secure in that. And again, great selling tool for you. Card brands, okay, is the 4th player. The associations, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, and of course, 5th is the issuing bank. So that is the bank that has got that card holder, given them the card, right, to go and use. So we all have a part in this game. I like to call it a game because it kind of is, right? All of us are part of that financial transaction, right? You need a person that's got a card. They had to get that card from somewhere. They've got to go to a business to use it, and then somebody's got to process that information, and then somebody's got to make money on it, right? And in this case, Visa makes like 98% of the money. That's what interchange is, okay? So that's really, really important. So let's talk about the flow really quick, and this should be coming up on your screen, right? So what happens? Well, card holder presents their card to the merchant, right? The transaction is captured, transmitted to the payment processor. All right, and something important to note, when you run a card through, right, a machine, what it's doing is, let's say I go into Joe's Crab Shack and I utilize my card and it was $100, okay? That $100 is now held on my account. So I can't use that $100 anywhere else. I don't actually lose that money, right? Or it's not taken out of my credit card until that merchant batches. Really important. Because if your merchants aren't batching, they're not getting paid. And we just had a situation recently. A merchant went over 45 days. How they didn't know they weren't getting paid, I have no idea. They obviously weren't paying close attention to their books. And as a result, 45 days later, they finally realized, we're not getting paid. Okay? So really important, set your clients up on auto batch if at all possible, but make sure they know that the batching is important. They should have a receipt the next day that shows them their transactions, what went through. So once that is batched, that's when it actually takes the money from my card and sends it to the payment processor, okay? So then that payment processor sends that information to the issuing bank so they can take their fees out of it, right? They submit the transaction to the credit card issuing bank. So let's say JP Morgan Chase has my credit card, right? Goes to JP Morgan Chase. They authorize or decline that transaction, pay the bank card company, the card brand. They pay the payment processor less interchange and assessments, and the payment processor pays the merchant. All right? So that's how the business flows, if that makes sense, okay? So that's an important flow. It's important for you to understand. A lot of merchants are going to think that we make all the money, right? You're charging me 2% for taking credit cards. You're charging me 3%. you're actually not doing that, right? Visa makes the majority of that. That's what interchange is. And we talked about that earlier, 0.05 and 22 cents on a regulated debit card, all the way up to 2.95 and 10 cents on some of these corporate cards with rewards attached, these high-end cards. So that's a pretty big delta, right? I mean, somebody could be paying as little as 0.05, and they could be paying as much as 2.95. And guess what? We don't get any of that money. We get the spread above that, okay? Visa, MasterCard, the issuing banks, they make the rest of those funds, okay? So what is interchange? This is really, really important, okay? The true cost of taking a card, and the simple form of it is just cost. Just think of it that way, all right? If you're presenting me a debit card and it's from a regulated bank with over 10 million in assets, the true cost of that card is 0.05 and 22 cents. That's non-negotiable, okay? Target's tried to sue Visa. Walmart's tried to sue Visa. They've tried to get that changed. The bottom line is Visa controls that market. They decide what those costs are going to be. Interchange is recalculated usually twice a year, usually March, April, and October. It's public information. You can look it up. I actually print interchange books for my team. I think it's a great sales tool. If a merchant's not believing you, you can pull out this big, thick book. It's got all the rates in it, literally hundreds of rates. You'll fall asleep reading it, trust me, but you'll learn a few big ones, and you need to understand some of the big rates and what they mean. All right? So Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, they get together and they say, all right, here's what we're going to charge for this specific card type, and that's what interchange is. I don't care if you're the largest merchant in the world. I don't care if you're Amazon. You are paying interchange, okay? Interchange is the same for every processor, every merchant. It's one of the coolest things about our business that I love, right? If you're a small restaurant owner, you do not get the same pricing as the guy that owns 500 franchises. Same thing with car dealers, right? Again, going back to cars. You don't get the same allocation. You don't get the same holdback. You don't get the same bonuses if you're a small dealer selling 4 or 5 Chevys a month versus the guy selling 500 Chevys a month. Okay? In our business, it's the opposite. We all start from the same level playing field, which means you can be competitive with anybody out there. There's not another processor, another rep from a different company that's going to be able to go in any lower than you can go. Okay? So that's really important. And even more important, none of those people are going to have the tools that you have to sell. Okay? So yeah, literally hundreds of rates. We talked about that. Risk, okay? That's part of the rate expense. Okay, that's why we call moto cards, mail order, telephone order, or over the phone, right? Online cards are more expensive than a swipe card. Higher risk, more risk for the transaction to be fraudulent or stolen. How do you know somebody calling you is even the owner of that card? So that's part of the reason. And then the expense of maintaining that card. That's why rewards cards cost more than debit cards. The debit card has no reward. Back when I started, they did. Banks made a boatload of money on that. Then we had Durbin legislation that went away. But there's still a lot of rewards cards out there. Some of them pay as much as 2%, right? Well, who's paying for that? Well, the association is charging enough to cover that. So it's really the merchant that ends up paying that. That's why we have a rewards one card, which, by the way, one of the 3 rates you should memorize is this, rewards one, 1.65% and 10 cents, a swiped rewards card. That same card keyed in is 1.95 and 10 cents, and that's called a rewards 2 card, right? So you get rewards 1, rewards 2. We already talked about 0.05, 22 cents regulated debit. If you memorize those 3 rates, you don't even need an interchange book. You can look at pretty much any statement and be able to tell if it's true interchange or if they're inflating that internally, which we'll talk about another time. But anyway, so those are 2 of the big factors why a card is the way it is. So number 1 is risk, and number 2 is what kind of card is it and how much is it to maintain that card. All right. So the fixed cost of processing, every processor has to pay Number one is dues, what we call dues and assessments. It's 13 basis points, 0.13%. Okay. You're going to see that on statements when you look at them. They're called fixed fees. International acquirer fee, zero floor limit fee, misuse of authorization, settlement fee, or kilobyte access fee. Okay, those are fixed costs. You see any of those on a merchant statement, that's part of the cost of interchange. That is not markup. Now, what I am seeing, and I have seen recently, is we talked about dues and assessments are 0.13%, right? On Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. I've seen processors mark that up. I've seen as high as 0.17. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 4 basis points that they're building into profit. The actual cost is 0.13. You're going to look incredibly smart if you see that on a statement. You see that 0.15, and you point it out to the merchant. The cost is actually 0.13. They're marking this up 2 points. Okay, it's all about knowing more than the merchant knows. All right, and we also have a level of minimum, which is required on each deal. So we talked about the assessments already, and then we talk about the base rate, and that's the bottom line. And if a merchant is telling you or being told that they're below interchange, that they're paying less than interchange, trust me, those costs are being made up elsewhere. Okay, it's just like I'll walk into a merchant and their rates are ridiculously low. Let's say 10 and 5 over cost, right? 0.1% and 5 cents. Whenever, by the way, I do that, the first number is a percentage of the sale, and the second number is the transaction fee. So percentage and pennies, if you can think of it that way. So when I say 10 and 5, okay, that's 0.1%. So 105 would be 1%, right? 100 equals 1%, 100 basis points. 5 would be the cents, right? So 5 cents over cost. So let's say somebody has this extremely low rate of 10 and 5 over cost, and the merchant thinks they're getting a great deal. But let's say they're only doing $3,000 or $4,000 in processing, and then you find out that they're leasing a terminal for $89 a month. Well, there you go. That's where the company is making all that money, okay? So they're covering the cost somewhere. I've actually never seen a below interchange statement. I have seen a lot of internal markup. I've seen a lot of that, but I've never seen anything internal happening. So again, let's talk about the difference between us and other processors. And this is as far as I want to get into payments today with you on this call, because we're already running long, okay? So other processors will pad interchange, okay? They'll make it look like interchange. We don't do that. Again, we charge them true interchange cost, and then we show them what the markup is. So it's very clear. You're paying 0.3% over cost. It's right there on their statements. Charging merchants 2 fees for each transaction, right? You see this, I see this a lot. Authorization and a Watts fee, or a POS Watts fee, or an AV, there's all sorts of different ways to call it, IP fee. So you'll see this at the top of the statement, maybe it's 20 and 10. Then on the back end, page 3, 4, 5, you see another 5 cents. We don't do that. We charge 1 transaction fee. Separating out assessments when offering tiered pricing, okay? Our tiered pricing includes the 0.13% assessment fee. So if a merchant's paying 165, but they're really paying 178, right? Because they got to pay that 0.13%. We include the assessments in our rate that we give them. So our 2-rate plan is 1.89 and 2.99. That includes the assessment fee. So we're really at 176, right? So it's pretty cool. Charges for PCI compliance, non-compliance. Our merchant is never going to worry about that. PCI is a requirement. Absolutely. It's real. It's not a fake thing. But we take care of that for the merchant. We also don't charge them an annual fee for that. And more importantly, they're never going to see a non-compliant processing fee. We talked about it in the beginning of the call, a lot of times, $40 a month. And these people are paying it month after month after month. They don't even think about it. Additional fees to receive next day funding. Heartland's doing this right now. You'll see monthly versus daily discount, and they charge 2 basis points. That's a lot of money. That can really add up, right? When you've got hundreds of thousands of merchants. We don't charge. We offer NDF, next day funding, at no charge, okay? They have to batch out by 10:30 Eastern time. In my market, it would be 9:30, West Coast, of course, 7:30. All right. So we talked about that. Monthly billing versus daily discounting. Again, we don't charge extra for that either. Batch fees, we don't charge them. And then statement fee, miscellaneous fees, insight fee. You're going to see it all. Trust me. And you're just getting started. But you're going to see all of those types of fees out there. So that is going to be all for payment processing right now. Let's make sure we got everything covered. Interchange rates are, of course, set by the associations themselves. We do not charge any fees. That's the easiest way to remember that. We have a core fee. That is for our core product. On the credit card processing side, we charge 0. Okay, just remember that, and you will be good to go.